In today's finale theory of the Phantom series, I'm going to show you how the Phantom was a former agent of the agency, the secret message that they left in I Expect You to Die 2, and the answer to the ultimate question: who is Zor? This is my most ambitious theory by far, and I'm really excited to share it with you. I think it'll make you rethink everything you know about this series. So, without further ado, enjoy. Hello agents, I'm the Agent of Lore, and welcome. Now if you haven't watched the past 2 episodes of this series, I'll have them linked down in the description below. They'll provide a bit of context for what I'm talking about today. However, as a rough wrap up, I've been explaining why I believe that VIYTD, the lead agent of the agency, is actually the mysterious Phantom, how they are connected to Zor, and what their plans are for us. And since then, as you can see on the board behind me, I've been doing a lore hunt, trying to find all the information I can get to see what lines up. And while nearly every evidence point lines up with my theory, there's one thing that I haven't been able to solve. You see, contrary to popular belief, the Phantom is not a new character. They were actually introduced all the way back in I Expect You to Die 2. In the first level of I Expect You to Die 2, Stage Fright, you can actually find some graffiti hidden under the desk. What does this graffiti say? Well, it says 1967 Hamlet. It also says the code that is required to be put into the safe behind us so that we can complete the mission. But there's one thing that stands out after playing this most recent game. The Phantom was here. Now, I noticed this quite a while back, but I just thought it was a reference maybe to the Phantom of the Opera, considering our surroundings. And after playing this most recent game, most of the theorists and people in the community concluded that this means that the Phantom has been watching us for a long time. However, I think there's a little more than what's on the surface. Notice the other things around the Phantom was here. It says 1967 Hamlet and the code that we need to use. But it's almost as if this was done a while ago. And that brings me to my point. Is this from a former mission? Could the Phantom actually be a codename? What am I talking about? Well, with the agency, they never use the agent's real name to communicate with them. They use codenames. For instance, for us, the handler addresses us as Agent Phoenix. That is our codename. And when VIYTD, or if VIYTD is the lead agent, she would have had a codename herself. They would have never addressed her as VIYTD, which then strengthens my theory that the Phantom is VIYTD, and the word Phantom is her codename. However, I believe that she no longer works in the agency, as we can see with her portrait being hidden behind a pot plant. This was more than likely done by her when she snuck in the Phantom Vault in the agency location Batabak. I mean, this location was completely powered down. It looked like it hadn't been used for ages. Who else would have hidden this portrait? She probably did this to help Agent Phoenix figure out who she really is. But there's one more thing. In my past theories, I've mentioned that I believe that there is a connection between the Phantom and Zor. But I believe I have finally found evidence that confirms this. The golden gloves. I know that sounds weird, but give me a moment. In my first theory, I mentioned that the golden gloves may just be a token for completing the Phantom Vault. However, I never stopped to look at its significance. The color. It's gold. Why is gold so important? Because gold is Zor's favorite color. We know this by Sean and HR's paperwork stating that Zor's favorite color is gold. Along with this, everything that Zor does for Zoraxis is all done in gold. So these golden gloves could be the answer, the evidence that confirms the connection between Vidi and Zor, but not only that, her being the fulfillment of his last line of I Expect You to Die 2.
If you survive this, Agent, I shall be in touch.
So now that we know that there is a connection between the Phantom and Zor, how closely connected are they? You've probably heard me say multiple times in my past theories that I do not believe that VIYTD, the Phantom, and Zor are the same people. I just don't believe why Shell Games would make a whole new character and a whole new name just for it to be the exact same person we're fighting all along. And the line in the Phantom's letter, "You're as good as they say you are," almost references that they haven't seen us themselves. However, I take it back. I've been doing some insane research on this theory, trying to bring it to you, and while writing it and researching, I think I found some satisfying answers to these concerns. You see, if the Phantom was VIYTD's code phrase when she was in the agency, then Zor could be her code phrase hiding her evil schemes. And that line, "as they say you are," could have different implications. A fellow agent named Ali Angel 5007 on YouTube made an interesting comment on my last video that got me thinking and helped me understand this line. Essentially, in the first game, Agent Phoenix was described as something not to be wary of. They were just another agent being sent out to stop Zor. It was until the destruction of the Death Engine that Agent Phoenix showed their skills and how good they really are. So with that in mind, it made me think of the Phantom's perspective. They could have said this because they had been seeing all the other agents dying in the process, but Agent Phoenix continuing to survive. Yes, agents, if you haven't put it together already, I believe that Zor is IEYTD, formerly known as Agent Phantom of the EOD. I've spent so much time trying to find an answer that's narratively satisfying but also lines up with all the evidence, and I think that this is the answer. But the question is, how? If Agent Phantom was the lead agent and the best agent there was, what happened to make them turn into Zor and turn against the agency? I think that the letter from the Phantom actually gives us a bit of a clue. She had the choice to live or to die. The agency keeps putting agents into situations they expect us to die in. That was literally the line that the handler gave us in the first ever trailer.
Due condolences. I expect you to die.
Maybe when Vitti was on a mission, she was left to die by the agency. When she was presumed dead, she then made the choice to live by leaving the agency and then vowing revenge against them, trying to take them down. She now sees how good of an agent we are as Agent Phoenix, and it reminds her of herself. So she wants to give us that exact same choice, to live or to die. And she expects us to live, as we see on the code in her letter. Which is also another point too that I want to briefly bring up. The code phrase that translates to "I expect you to live" is actually the Zoraxis code, and she knows the full Zoraxis code language, which even strengthens my theory more. So agents, let me wrap up this entire theory series from the beginning. Starting from the opening song of "I Expect You to Die 1. I believe that this song is sung by Zor. Number 2 and 3 of these games have both been sung by the main villains, Spy and the Liar by John Juniper and Cog in the Machine by Dr. Roxanne Prism. Along with this, every time that Zor speaks, their voice changer malfunctions and you hear a woman's voice. All of this evidence lines up to the fact that Zor is a woman. Along with this, there is a portrait of themselves, IEYTD, in their winter office, and behind that portrait is actually an EOD lighter, something only given to the agents. They used to be the lead agent of the agency under the name Agent Phantom. They then were presumably betrayed by the agency and vowed revenge against them. She then sees the rising star Agent Phoenix, and she sees how he continues to thwart the plans and continually survive. It reminds her of herself, so she wants to give the choice to Agent Phoenix to live or to die, and she expects him to live. So here we are, 3 full theories later, and I believe that with your support, we figured out the identity of the Phantom and Zor. I just want to say thank you so much on all the support I've been receiving on these theories and on the channel. And just to state, this is not my final theory. I still have plenty more coming out, and ones that you've recommended, such as John Juniper and figuring out the hidden voicemails. This will probably be, though, my final theory on the Phantom, till we get more information, potentially in I Expect You to Die 5, the Phoenix and the Phantom. So if you're excited for all this content, make sure you subscribe so that you're notified and you also get the videos and theories in your feed. And as always, if you have any theories or findings for yourself, please comment down below. I've been making an effort to reply to each one, and they've been helping me into crafting these theories you're watching today. Thank you so much, agents. I am the Agent of Lore, and I'll see you soon.
Even you can